What's up, guys and gals? It's time for the latest Kengan Omega, chapter 297, entitled You Good? Are You Good? And this is a follow-up, of course, to a very late chapter 296 review, but hopefully this one is on time, because we're continuing Oma versus Kurushi, and all I got to say is, great chapter. Okay? We'll go through the chapter and stuff, but honestly, not a whole lot to say other than good art, good choreography, and these two getting it on. Oma taking this more seriously, ready to throw down with Kurushi. Kurushi letting his freak out, ready to actually go all freaky, Setsuna on his ass. Let's go. Let's just go. And everybody else stand aside, right? But the exchange is just so cool, right? Because we initially, at the beginning of the fight, we still see them exchanging blows and yada, yada, yada. Kurushi, once again, right up there in S tier. If anybody ever had any doubt, he's right up there. He grabs Oma's hand and attempting to either break something. I don't know if he's intending on breaking his fingers, breaking his wrist, breaking his joints, something like that. But Kurushi's whole thing is breaking bones, so he grabs him and swings this down. Now this exchange is incredibly cool because Lou immediately says, "This is a sparring match. You guys aren't supposed to be going all out like this. What are you doing?" We see the reaction, and it's Kurushi's elbow that is now broken. It's pointing the absolute wrong direction, but wait, it's not actually broken. It's been dislocated by Toa. Misunderstands to think that Oma landed a perfect counter. When Kurushi grabbed his hand and went like this, Oma managed to counter and dislocate Kurushi's elbow. However, Toa didn't even see it correctly, because as Oma states, is that later on, I forget when or exactly, just shortly after this, he says he was able to do that Oma was able to use a nameless technique of the Nico style. So the exchange actually goes in a bit of a different order. So Kurushi grabbed him, attempting to break something on that arm. Oma did successfully counter and attempted to dislocate and or break Kurushi's elbow. However, according to Oma, as I said, Toa misunderstood. Yes, the counter did happen, but it wasn't Oma who actually successfully dislocated Kurushi's elbow. Kurushi immediately disengaged and dislocated his own elbow to get out of the serious counter, so he could dislocate it in his own way, so he could repair it himself as, this bone expert, this acupuncture expert, incredibly easily, and put his elbow back into place without question. And we see this after this exchange, because Kurushi and Oma, they're both huffing and puffing sort of ideas, like, oh, that was an interesting joint, like, do you have a name for it? And as I already said, he's like, no, not really. We have a lot of names in the Nico style, but there's a lot of moves that and a lot of counters we don't actually have names for. And he's like, well, I'd love to hear all about all these techniques of your Nico style when we're done here. I was like, yeah, I don't mind talking about fighting. I mean, that's his whole thing, right? He doesn't, he loves talking about fighting. But here's the thing, is that Oma's standing there, his fingers are still throbbing from just that initial grip, and he's just like, this guy is such a monster, like he's on a whole other level, and from the way that felt, he dislocated it before I could break it. So once again, Oma's counter intention and the auras surrounding them as they face each other off, they're having fun with this, but his whole intention was to break his elbow with the counter. Kurushi dislocated it and disengaged immediately after he was being countered. So he countered a counter, and it's just, it's crazy. And then Kurushi gets the crazy face and says, yeah, I haven't been able to let loose in a long fucking time, Tokita. Let's go at it, baby. And immediately Oma's like gritting his teeth like, holy shit. He's like, yeah, now I see. You can't let Cosmo or Adam see you like this. One of the drawbacks of having to be a master here. I wish there was just one more added thing, being a responsible master or being a respected master or something. When Kurushi fights, he goes very Setsuna. He doesn't want to instill that or show that to Adam or Cosmo, his pupils. So, as Oma points out, he just like, yeah, you obviously can't go all out or do that on a regular basis. You have to do this stuff when you fight seriously. You have to do it behind closed doors. And almost like, all right, I'm ready for the fight. And this is where like Lou's like, whoa, wait a minute. These guys they're already too serious. Now they're planning on getting more serious. Joji is like, yeah, don't worry about it. Or, I'm 90%, I'm pretty sure everything's fine. Pretty sure. He's like, that doesn't make me feel any better, right? So, this is, as I said, good exchange, good fight, and everything like that, right? And immediately Joshi goes up to Toa and Nitoku and is like, oh, right, and so if anything does go wrong, though, by the way, by the course, I did put in safety protocols and precautions and stuff, and I did my due diligence, right? Just making sure. Like, this is literally the dude, this is the Tom Cruise thing, the Matt Damon interview with Conan or whatever going on. It's like, I've been dreaming of this stunt for 15 years, so I go to the safety guy, and I say, this is what I want to do, and the safety guy goes, no, you can't do that, that's too dangerous. I see, nobody wants to get sued. So I fired him, and I got another safety guy, like, that's literally what Joji's pulling off right now. He's just like, I see, you're saying, yeah, Lou, your complaints are noted, As long as I'm clear on my due diligence, like, I'm not going to get fired, yeah, okay, you guys keep going, keep doing it, it's fine, So, the fight resumes. Kurushi, has got his tongue out, and he's ready to throw down. And according to Oma's estimation, he's got half the power of Toa, which, once again, Toa, Julius, Waka, these monsters on a whole other level when it comes to power. So he's got half the power. He's like, And apparently Lou's got him beat in terms of overall technique. I don't know about that, because Lou wasn't able to do shit to you, so that's a bold statement to make. I don't think... Once again, I think that's more hype building. Kurushi obviously has some of the best skill and technique in the series as one of the few masters that we've seen in the series. So I don't know if I believe that particular remark. The Toa one definitely makes sense though. And he says, Kurushi's far and away the most frightening. When was the last time I've had such a scary fight? And it's true. When was the last time Oma was in a fight against someone like this? Back in the Cat? Like 5-6 years ago, he goes, when was the last time I've had such a scary fight? Probably in one of his do or die missions in Ashura. I mean, the Roland fight was a couple years ago. You could argue that the Roland fight wasn't actually scary for him, though. Like, it was a balls out fight, but was it scary? And he hasn't had to fight, Shen, Edward, anybody like that. You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time Oma was in a serious do or die? The Setsuna fight, the Waka fight, and the Kuroki fight would be the three that I could think of, that those were his last scary fights, his fights to the death, right? He hasn't really done that realistically in Omega. So that actually makes a lot of sense. So Kurushi ends up grabbing his wrists. He's going to try to flip him. Oma counters with a quick punch to the face. Kurushi has to let go, but he continues on by holding down on one arm, flips Oma, gets him on the ground, slams him, throws him onto the ground. Kurushi seems to be like, Oma's countering the little attacks, but Kurushi's coming up with the bigger attacks. You know what I mean? Like, every time Oma manages to land a big punch, and it's like, that's great, but Kurushi just follows up with a bigger attack. Like, a throw is worth way more than a punch in this regard. And slam down, he almost gets him in an arm lock, but before he's able to set his legs, when you look on the mat, he hasn't fully set his arm down yet. He's got his arm, but his legs aren't in position quite yet. Oma manages to quickly use his momentum, roll over, and slam Kurushi into the face, and gets away from Kurushi, and then they both start to get up and stuff like that, right? Oma does something similar that Gao Lang did in the Kanade fight. And this is where Kurushi gets up looking battered and beaten, but still like, yeah, let's do this. You good, Tokita? If we make this more than just a sparring match? So Kurushi's like, yeah, it's time. It's like, all right, I've had enough of this shit. I want to go all out. And almost immediately like, bring it on. Let's fight this out. This is what I'm talking about. And immediately it's like, nope, time. And Kurushi's like, wait, what? And he's immediately pissed off. He's like, I was just starting to have fucking fun. What the fuck? I sort of expected him to grab the pocket watch, smash it, and go, oh, look, Takeda, seems like we still have 2 seconds left. And it's just like the tick, 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 tick. I sort of almost expected him to do something like that. So immediately Nitoku says, both of you have to settle down and stuff. Kurushi goes back to his normal self and just says, like, I guess I got a bit worked up there. Sorry about that, man. And almost just like, yeah, it's fine. I was just getting into gear myself. You and I, we're picking this up some other time. Like, they both Kurushi's like, oh, I want to fight you again. And almost like, fucking likewise. This was This was the intensity that we're talking about. And as an Omega fan, 100%, last 2 chapters have been well drawn, great choreography between 2 characters that are highly respected in the community. It just works. It works on so many levels. So Joji steals Lou's lines and basically said, "This is supposed to be a sparring match. It is not a fight to the death." I don't know why I'm making him talk like a robot, but Joji is just basically spitting what the AI is telling him to. What he heard Lou say, and Lou's getting all pissed off again and stuff like that. Now Kurushi is still getting his freak on. He's like, "Yeah, sorry about that, but I had a really good time and all, but oh, how I wish I could have broken Tokita's bones." Like, this man, I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't get the hard-on, from Kurushi here, the Setsuna hard-on panel, but, I mean, still, there's enough implication that he absolutely got erect during that. He 100% did. Last page, of course, is Nitoku asking if Oma actually needs a short break from this gauntlet, and Oma says, admitting fighting you guys all back-to-back is pretty exhausting, but it's only 3 minutes around. It's like, you alright? You kidding me? I've wanted to fight you for a long time. See, Oma always wants to fight everybody. He always wants to try his hand against every single fighter. So, this is just tried and true, I should say. Tried and true for Oma as a character. Nitoku's ready to throw down. This one, I'm not so interested in. Nitoku's fine as a character, but I could take him or leave him. No different than Toa and Lou. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. They just don't do anything for me. I was much more interested in, of course, the Kurushi fight, which absolutely, and then Joji to finish it off. Let's freaking go. So, next couple chapters, I don't know whether I'll be impressed or not. I'm looking forward to it. I'm optimistic about this fight going down, but I want to see an exhausted Oma who just had to go against someone on his level versus, a master of Kurushi's level versus Joji. Because I think most of the community will agree that Joji is slightly the stronger fighter out of Kurushi. Like 9 out of 10 times, Joji's going to beat Kurushi. So he's the strongest one here. Let's see how he fares against Principal's Oma. Using Nico style, using the whole bit. Let's see what goes down. So yeah, that is chapter 297. You good? And I was good. Were you guys good? Because I'm sitting back here and I'm saying I'm pretty good. Other than the fact that my camera's way too low, that this chair keeps falling. It sucks. So my face is a little bit down here. But other than that, yeah, no, I really enjoyed this fight. I hope you guys enjoyed these last 2 chapters. 296 and 297 was nothing but gravy, as far as I'm concerned. We got the meat, potatoes, and even the gravy, not even on the side, just lightly drizzled over all that good food. You know what I mean? This has been an enjoyable 2 weeks of Kengan content. That's all I'm going to say. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the section, the comment section, of course. What section? The comment section. Down below, as always. It's always great to hear from you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys back next time. Have a good one. Sayonara.